Hey now. Wednesday the 20th of September. First, yes indeed, I want to thank my parents and my grandparents for teaching me the value of simple things in life. A good cup of coffee. Mmm. A decent night's rest. A good show last night. Being regarded well by others. I'm going to get to that, but two housekeeping things. I just removed a copy because I can't tell if it was sarcastic or not. Humor doesn't translate well anonymously. They were saying something about the inferior quality of vinyl. I don't know if you're to joke or not, but it's gone. One more housekeeping tip. Someone said leave the titles of what you're showing. Well, you could say please rather than make a demand. Okay. Like I keep saying, I'm at home. I'm not at some studio or something. So when you speak to me like that and I don't know you, it's like, well, who the fuck is this? Show some manners, okay? Let's keep moving. I'll review the show in a second. These are going out. I'm happy that these are some new names. I recognize many of the names of you folks who have bought from me before. And I guess I could consider you supporters. Thank you. Because I kind of recognize your names. You bought more than one thing. So it's nice to see orders coming in from people whose names I don't recognize. Keep it coming. There's no reason why I shouldn't sell hundreds of my new CD. It's very, very good. It's very good. It's very good. Okay. So, concert review and a couple of new vinyl pieces. So I went ahead and went to the Swans show last night. Was there a point where I was thinking maybe I wouldn't? I was thinking to myself, well, I can't find a decent parking spot. I'm going back home. And I was in luck. There was a decent spot. I didn't have to walk maybe 2 blocks. And the show was well attended. We had two big shows in Omaha last night. There was a time in Omaha where Omaha couldn't handle that. Two big shows in one night. Queens of the Stone Age also played last night. I had no interest in seeing them. They're good at what they do, but I don't need to see that. So Swans at the waiting room was well attended, pretty packed. I don't know if it sold out. It was, if I can say expectations, I'll say that it was up to my expectations if I had any, but I really didn't. Mostly what it is I have experienced Swans before, and I get what Michael Gara is about. He's about raising energy. He's about moving energy and catharsis. It's a very organic thing that he does. I like it a lot. I've met him before. I didn't bother him last night. I didn't stay the whole show. I got enough of Swans where it's like, okay, I'm going home. They were very good. It was powerful. But I hung out with Thor again from Swans, and also Norman Westberg, who used to be in Swans, who opened the show solo, did a 45-minute one-piece drone, and it worked. And it's based on this, but not strictly this. There's a woman singing on this, Luna Honey, and Norman Westberg, Aftermath. This is his latest. I haven't even played mine yet, but I listened to it online yesterday to know whether or not I wanted to bother. I did get him to have him sign it and reminded him that we had met before. Then I pointed over to Scott, because Scott was babbling to somebody at the time. I haven't even played this yet. I just got home last night, you know. Oh, I didn't even know. I just assumed it would be black vinyl, but it's red. That's nice, and it's dirty. But as Mike from the in-group says, you know, brand new records need to be cleaned straight away. Generally, they do. So, the Norman Westberg set was, to me, doing things like this are brave. It's like I could do it, but I get concerned of losing the audience. And people stayed with him. Of course, he lost a certain amount of the audience about halfway through, and the din of talk rose. You know, chatter. People are bored. They're not engaged. But mostly it was really good. Got to ask him about, so are you no longer with Swans? He says, I don't know. And the way he put it was very pregnant. You know, it was noisy, so it really wasn't a good situation to try to talk at length. But it was nice to hang out for a minute and reconnect. As I said in my last video, at this point, for me, in a lot of ways, what I'd like to do is meet people, as more so than see a lot of people play these days. I don't have any more bucket lists regarding people I'd love to meet and see. Ryuichi Sakamoto was high on the list. I got to see him play. I had an correspondence with him. I kept the correspondence. I was in a songwriting contest that he was a judge in. I didn't win, and at that time, what I presented, when I look back, it's like, well, this definitely wasn't a winner. But I got feedback from him, and when I responded to that, he wrote back. But other than that, no. Someone said the other day that they saw Peter Gabriel in concert and were blown away. Well, I bet you were. I've seen Peter Gabriel 4 times. Every time was amazing. He is one of my favorite artists historically. Don't play him much. That's a bunch of Peter Gabriel right there. Those real world spines. I wouldn't travel. Some people from Omaha actually drove to New York. Maybe they had other business, but the way they put it on social media is that they're driving to New York to see Peter Gabriel. Not me. I did that once. I took a Greyhound bus from Omaha to San Francisco. When the Residents put on the Mole Show, it was only the second time that they played in public. So I went for that. Now, besides the Norman Westberg album I bought, he had a couple things there. That was the only one on vinyl. I don't like to buy CDs. Even though CDs are cool, I just don't like to buy them. Records are artifacts. So this was on sale, the limited edition version of this. And so I said, well, I won't see this in the stores in Omaha, so let me grab this. And the price was good. Thomas Woodler and Toby Dammit with Morphosa Harmonia in this limited edition of 1,000 box set. Now, I know Toby Dammit because he has worked with the Residents, and I'd have to look him up again. He has an interesting background. This was cool, though. Limited edition of 1,000. I thought to myself, I don't know what this sounds like, but I'll bet this is going to be good. Really nice. Really nice. It comes with not only the album. This is black vinyl. Love those graphics, the artwork. That was also part of what got me to do it, is the artwork. And it comes in this cool, kind of old style binding where you actually see, but it's a booklet of the artist's Paintings. Several of them are nude. slightly I think it's really quite good. I put this on before I went to bed last night to find out what this is like, and I'm happy I bought it. It's an art piece. It's not songs. I also like the promo on here. It says, Nick Cave says, more nervy sonics from Mr. Woodler and Mr. Mullins. Strange, complex, dystopian, and well, sort of gorgeous. My impression was, yeah, this sounds good, but I'm not sure what's going on just yet. But I grabbed this. Saw a lot of people I knew last night. It's basically, the people, the heavy people, and that's what I kept saying. Well, I figured I'd see you here. The heads are here. The real music heads. It was nice to not be the oldest person in the audience for a change. Steve Tuco Jacobs, I met your son last night. He's a chip off the block. Looks like you, sure does. It was nice of him to come up and introduce himself. I appreciate how I am regarded here in Omaha. I do. I don't go out much, so when people are very, very, very kind. And I heard from several people, more than 3 people had said, I just want to tell you, since they never see me, that how much they appreciate the type of person I am, my role in the community, the fact that I'm still going. See, music was never about the girls for me. It was never about that. And a lot of people, it's about trying to meet somebody or about sex. It was never about that. It's always been about the fascination and the connection deeply to audio and art. So I appreciate the appreciation and the love. And besides folks who told me that I know, I had a couple folks come and say, you don't know me, but I just want to tell you, fantastic. I appreciate it. Don't mind telling you. So what's up? Well, I hear from Hank Red this week. We'll see. That reminds me. I ran into, I won't say his name because he hasn't said anything. When he told me last night, it was a shock. But I saw a fellow collector who I consider a friend, even though we really hardly know each other. He came in town for the show, and I was just catching up with him, and he shared with me that his ex-wife had died. And this person is like 15 to 16 years younger than me. And I was like, what? And it also hit me hard because I have met this person. They have a teenage daughter, and really like the young lady, and she's obviously artistic. So when he was explaining to me what had happened with her bad health, and I asked, how is your daughter taking it? Hope she'll be okay. I always think about being a child of divorce, and also just a whole lot of madness when I was a kid. I am really strongly aware of the fallout and the unpredictable effect that adult behavior and things can have on the children who are caught up in the maelstrom. So I hope his daughter's going to be okay behind the mother overdosing. Jeez, I wasn't expecting to hear that. But I'd never met his ex-wife, so I don't. More babble. So I get home from the show, and like any show, I can't quite sleep right away. My neighbor's straight across the street. We're having a party out in the front yard. Loud. I mean, just really rudely loud, and very obviously drunk. And so I decide, Would they sleep out in the front yard all last night? So I decided to just go ahead and like eavesdrop and say, what are these motherfuckers talking about? And they're just babbling about nothing. Oh yeah, it is. And then the next thing you know, it gets agitated. Oh, shut up, And then it reels back the other way where they're all laughing and acting silly. This is human nature, but to me, it's like, I'm so glad I ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, get your ass hanging out in public, basically. I live on a half circle, so that's why this can happen. It would happen probably on a main street anyway. People don't give a shit. But man, I was just thinking, they're just loud and loud and loud and loud. It's like, damn. Okay. So, person who asked me to write the titles of what I show, do you really want me to show them when you say please? I'd appreciate that. Social behavior is just in the toilet. So much of what I was taught as a child, I don't see reflected around me in people's behavior. People are really rough cut these days, and I'm not up for it. And another thing I've said, which I think is true, phones haven't helped, radiation hasn't helped, our attention span is short. The other thing I noticed at the bar while hanging out with people and clustering for short periods of time with people is how conversations are very erratic. Pew, 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 pew. One thing from the other, it's like not much of a stream of consciousness. It's just all this fluff. I think it's a sign of the times. It is, We have improved technology, but we have ruined ourselves. That's my observation, just my perception. Okay, let me do a poll before I leave, okay? And I'll go up here, actually. Won't do a poll. I'll go up here and show some Peter Gabriel. Just some, because I have a bunch. And I have as much on CD as I do on vinyl, because Peter Gabriel was a childhood hero. He was a hero of mine. When I discovered Genesis, it was just what I needed, mystical. So I just grabbed this bunch. What Comes Before Gabriel, The End of the F's, Fuzzy Duck. They only made one album. It's hard rock with progressive, good players, and good writing. And it's like one of those albums that's like goofy cover, but why only one record when they're so good? So there's that. Oh, these are a little mixed up. FX. This band, FX. I think, again, John Coltrane 68 turned me onto this. Baird Hersey, you know that name? This is an early band of his. Baird Hersey, interesting musician. Okay, so again, my records are out of order. Here's one that I finally went ahead and bought the picture disc because the album is so hard to find. It's very collectible. It's a cosmic German rock album. Ga, Achterbahn zum Uranus. Here's my burn of it. And then I finally got this picture disc of it. I don't play it though. Number 509. So those come. You want me to show the titles? Say please. Okay, so these are not really in order, but here we go. The first album. I saw him on this tour with Robert Fripp in the band, just off sort of behind the curtain, but I was at the angle so I could see him. Peter Gabriel came out and walked out in the audience. I got to touch his leg. At that time, it was significant. It was like, well, I've connected with Peter Gabriel. Didn't like this when it came out. Over time, my perception of it has improved, but not a whole lot. This one is a banger. The third album, everything about this, every song. I played this to death when it came out. I have the German version. Ein Deutsches Album. Different mix. He sings in German. The mixes are different. Peter Gabriel plays live. One of these sides was recorded in Kansas City. I'm in the audience at that show. Fantastic show. Birdie. It was a hard movie. Security. This album has brought, Wallflower in particular, has brought me to tears. The last time I saw Peter Gabriel with the orchestra, they did Wallflower, I just wept. You know, it has a lot of meaning to me. The words do. He may be talking about political prisoners, but I relate those words to people in insane asylums that I worked in for 30 years. I also have the German version of this Deutsches album. Passion. Again, a movie that I don't care for. It's just too raw. It's just too harsh. But the music is amazing. So, his big commercial breakthrough. And still a great album. Every song on this album. Here's a Russian. It's not Russian language. It's just a Russian pressing. So I said, I'll get that. Last time, no, I saw him on this tour, the US tour. I went out to Denver. I drove to Denver to see this. It was worth it. Got to meet David Rhodes on that tour, on that trip. Again, another just excellent album. And the last thing I pulled, as you see, there's more Peter Gabriel. Here's Peter Gabriel, rated PG, several tracks from movies. Every Bird is the newer song on here that is exclusive to this. And it's a good song. So there's some Peter Gabriel for you. All right, people? Okay. Okay, folks. Have a wonderful day. And just keep it simple. And keep it loving. Talk to you later.